Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. It is Sunday morning again. Oh my gosh, it's so great to see you guys. I see Judy and Judy, there you are. And I see Anne. There's a couple of Anns. I see. Hello, Susan and Joseph. Hello, Bridget. Hello, Luke. Hello, Marcia. It's so good to see you. Hello, Gary. Gary's here and Joey's here. Heidi. Hello. So good to see you guys. Vinod. So good to see you. Casey's here. And we've got some really special guests. Hello, Charlotte.
Hi.
It's so good to see you. We've got Jerry and Beverly and Raven and Ryan, Alex, Esther. Oh my gosh. Hello, Joan. So good to see your smiling face. Thank you for the wave. Hello, Alex. And Tara. It's so good to see you. Gary, it's so wonderful to see you on camera now. I love it. Well, today we've got a very special call today, and I am wanting to hear from you. Today, we are going to be talking about self-love. And let me just, before that, let me just say today is May 28th, 2023. And the reason for the call is we come together to be able to discuss the principles of this incredible book. And this book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, not only has home remedies and marma points, but it has incredible nuggets of wisdom. Just, it's so amazing how a lot of times I'll just open the book and there is a nugget that I've actually needed to hear or to incorporate in my life. So it's a book that we read again and again and again. It's amazing. So today, we're going to be talking about self-love, and I would like to know if, and you guys, as you can think about it now or put it in the chat, just think about, what do you do to share your self-love? How do you love yourself? How do you share love for yourself? But before we go to that, I want to say we have had a lot of birthdays. We've had a lot of birthdays, and Carrie's birthday and so many birthdays. I think it's Kaylee's birthday today. It was Deborah's birthday the other day, Dr. Priyanka's birthday, Gary's birthday, just so many birthdays. So I just want to wish everybody a very happy birthday who's in May and in June. Missing my notes here. So let's rub our hands together and send all the June birthdays lots of love. Just send love to the community. Oh my gosh.
It's the May birthdays also.
Yes, the May and June birthdays. Absolutely. Absolutely. God, you guys are incredible. Can you feel that love? This is such a unique community. We have so much love in this group. It's beautiful. Thank you. Dr. Priyanka had a baby. And we want to just wish her a very, congratulations. And we're very excited for Dr. Priyanka and her. We also had a lot of people that are going to be having surgeries or who have been struggling. And we also have people who are in a lot of change and who are also going to be traveling. And so we just want to send out the very best to those people, family members, people in our community, people that we love. Let's go ahead and rub our hands together and send them a blast of love as well. Love and respect to all of you. Very best to everyone. Thank you. You know, it was interesting. I was watching something, I don't know where, but rubbing your hands together is actually a marma. I did not know that, but it is actually a marma. It stimulates all of the organs in your body. So when you rub your hands together and you bring up that energy, it's actually a marma. So it's wonderful that we continue to do this marma again and again and again. Awesome. Who would like to share something about how they share self-love? How did they do self-love? How do they practice self-love? There's somebody that would like to share that. And I'm not minding the chat. Let me see if there's somebody that put something in the chat. If please raise your hand or come off mute.
I'll do it. What the heck?
Thank you, Esther.
That Aries energy says, okay, somebody's got to, get out on the dance floor first. I think the biggest key for me has been to take the deep wish to be unconditionally loving to what, quote, air quotes, others, to apply that equally to myself. In other words, to get rid of that whole idea that there's separation between what, this body, this perspective that we call me and what we call others, and just go for unconditional love, all encompassing. And
I
that,
love that.
to me, has been the key that's unlocked, because I don't think any of it, with the conditioning we've had, how can you not occasionally look in the mirror? Or, we make mistakes. We've been conditioned to say that's wrong, but it's part of how we learn. We're continually changing. One day our hair is great, the next day it's what the heck? With every portion, we look and see, and that comparing, which is, just makes for a big mess. So to just say, okay, unconditionally, regardless of what comes up, in my opinion, I choose love for myself as well as for all life. So that's it.
I love that. That's so beautiful, because I was going to ask you, in what ways do you do it? But you said the word comparing, and comparing can be such a splitting energy. It can, be a competition, or it can be, you can even go into self-deprecation when you are in a state of comparison. And so when you celebrate the other person for who they are and celebrate yourself for who you are, you're not in that comparison. And
Yeah.
it's so amazing, those moments that come up, sometimes they're so subconscious, and they show up and there they are. And so Esther, how do you, when you find yourself in that state, what do you do to be able to bring yourself back into that unconditional love for yourself?
Well, I love the comment a sage Krishnamurti once said, which is that comparison is insidious. So, that phrase of remembering, wait a minute, you're off the mark. It's like you're driving on the road and you go a little bit too far to the right, and there's those bumps that, they give you the feedback, wait a minute, you're not on course. So I recognize it as, wait a minute, I'm not on course. It just happened this morning in the mirror, 20 minutes ago, trying to get ready and realizing I would have preferred to put on my contact lenses, but then I'd be late. And what the heck, are you going to go for this idea of appearance, or, to get home, to arrive on time? But it comes up, and just to acknowledge it, not make it wrong, not make it right, see it, but don't let it be the obstacle. And I'm thinking of, that symbol for removal of obstacles that's very prominent in Asian culture, the elephant. And when my son and I were in Nepal, we were riding on an elephant, and we're approaching this little grove of trees. And I'm, like you do with bowling, if you've ever bowled, and your body language is trying to persuade that ball that you've already released to go in a different direction. Well, we're headed toward these trees, and I'm going, wait a minute. The elephant with its trunk lifted this sapling out of the ground. It was probably 8-9 feet tall, like it was a toothpick, and tossed it to the side.
Oh my word.
So what if, it's just not an obstacle? We know these things arise, but we do not have to be thrown off course. And it's a practice, But if you're not trying, if you're trying to get rid of that darn thing like it's a tree when it's really a toothpick, that makes a problem. But you
It
don't have
does.
to use that. I see
Yes.
Robin smiling laugh there.
Well, Gary's got his hand up. I'd like to hear from Gary.
Yeah, so how do I, first of all, hello, everybody. Good to
Thank
see
you,
you
Esther.
guys. I'm excited. We're getting to the countdown of the big week to get days together for those of us who are going. But how I love myself is that the minute before midnight, my birthday, my 70th birthday was on May 25th, and I'm celebrating it with friends today. But that I have a problem with all these long long Facebook posts because I think, Jesus, who the hell is going to ever read this stuff, And so I kind of judge it and all that. Well, the minute before midnight, I wrote a long ass Facebook post. And it was my form of self-love. And I want to read just a part of it if I could, because it's so
Sure.
about. So I ended up sharing like all the projects I'm working on, and I said, I just turned 70-year-old. 70 years. Yikes. What is this age thing anyway? A number. A number we spend all our lives seeing other 70-year-olds growing up and then get into the habit of associating this darn age thing with being elderly, sick, and retired. Boring. Here's the deal. I'm just getting started. I feel like the most exciting and creative period for me is just beginning. And yes, right here and now, I'm going to lay out all the projects that I've got in play right now, no matter how freaking long it is, because I'm loud and proud and standing for these projects that I've been working on for a long time, many of them finally ready to show to the world. And then I go through them all. I'm not going to read that now. And I say, so am I even close to retiring? Are you kidding me? No friggin' way. I'm going to crow, brag, and proclaim to the world that I am definitely not going gently into that good night because I'm turning 70. So what do I want to do to end this endless post with? Here goes. F plank, the F word, F the number of my age. Screw the belief that I'm over the hill. Damn the inner voice that diminishes my value because I'm not under 50. I am celebrating my life wholeheartedly. And after the recent death of my amazing, loving, crazy, wild, and incomparable mother, Pearl, I can feel her egging me on from the other side, saying, go for it, Gary. I believe in you. So happy birthday to me and to all the older people who are still going strong with new ideas, projects, and ways to heal this fractured world we live in. These times provide such an incredible opportunity to make magic and offer solace, peace, consciousness, and healing through the power of music and beauty, one heart at a time. I send my love to all of you on this important threshold of mine. Love me. So that's when I did it, I didn't think about it. I was just like blurting, I went, because it was a minute before midnight. I thought, damned if I'm going to spend this day feeling sorry for myself. I'm not going to do it, So I did it. And you wouldn't believe the reaction I got from people. It was outrageous. I had like 383 passionate responses. And it was so rewarding.
Everybody that's reacting to Gary's message, I want you to unmute and just express however you want to Gary.
Gary, happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Gary, that's so beautiful.
amazing. Thank you.
Exactly the way I feel.
Gary.
Love you.
Gary.
Gary.
Happy
Whoa.
Gary.
And beyond.
Gary,
I say yes.
happy birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
81 and going strong.
Yay. So
I since the day you were born.
a waterfall of love from the ancient secret.
Whoops.
Sorry. Yeah.
Here we go.
So thank you for letting me share that. It's really empowering. I wrote it and then I read it each day since the 25th. And it's like a tonic for me because you have to remember the deep patterning is so strong to go and like feel, like, oh, I'm 70. I'm supposed to be sick and tired and old and, instead I'm like, rah, rah, and it's great.
Exactly.
It's great. I'm feeling really good and happy and looking forward to each day. So thank you for letting me share that, Jana. And,
Oh my gosh. Well,
and
you're
please,
just embodying some of the thoughts that I've had today is, I woke up this morning. I've just really encountered a lot of coworkers from the past this week. And even young people who are struggling with their health, and they're losing the older people, my coworkers that I went to lunch with last week, they are losing their memory. And I kept thinking, you know what, we are in this incredible community where we don't have to we can reverse those aging, those moments of aging. We can reverse it through diet, through lifestyle, through all of the Citivated tools. And it's amazing. So I'm going to be living till 103. Gary, I hope you're going to be living till over 100. And why not just, embrace this and really celebrate who you are and live passionately, full out. So
Amen.
Gary,
Amen.
thank you. Awesome. Well, Gary, we'll have you do the announcement a little bit later, if that's okay.
No, don't worry if you can't fit it in. I just have this perfect little transformance that it's called self-love. So it might be.
Well,
fun
go
to
ahead
share.
and share it right now, since
No.
it says self-love.
Well, no, I don't want to break the momentum. Continue
Okay, great. Thank you.
with your shares. It's important.
Thank you. Nehemiah. Whoops.
And
There
I
we
don't
go.
see, I don't see myself. I hope you see me.
I see you.
Yeah, that's because at the age of 75, I'm doing too much, and I have so many, according to the expert, who is so young, Carl, I have too many tabs, and therefore I can't see the camera of myself. But that's okay. You see me, it's enough, and I see you.
I see you.
I celebrated at the end of March, the 30th of March, my 75 years birthday. In May, there was a birthday of my initiating spiritual master. In June, there is another birthday of another master in my lineage. So I'm having a lot of birthday and birthday of friends and all this. Self-love. It's such an act to follow, but I don't compare myself. Esther and Gary. But I'll say what is self-love for me. And by the way, the attunement between Ancient Secret and myself is so amazing, because this Friday, every Friday, I took a break because I was doing a fundraiser on Saturday with Dr. Clint, amazing talk, and another doctor, amazing talk. But I took a break for my Friday, 5 o'clock New York time satsang. And the subject that come next week is the healing power of loving yourself, everyone, and your higher self. So that's what I'm working on, and that's what I experience. The time, we all have this low self-esteem. It's according to yoga, it's the issue of all humanity, especially except for realized being. Even people who are very high have issues of self-esteem, of loving themselves. I'm not good enough. I have to do so much in order to prove myself. And it all starts from the point where we lose the contact with who we really are. And the experience that I had, which I'm not going to share now, it's too big, of seeing Jesus on the cross coming out of my own body, and a joyful Christ expand to I was 28, few years ago. He expand into the sky like Salvador Dali picture. And he wasn't suffering. His body was suffering, but the Jesus that I saw was full of light and joy. And I got confirmation it from I don't want to shake anybody's belief. It's okay if you feel that he was suffering. Physically, he was suffering. He was beyond it, the one I saw. And just this week, I met a couple of people that were there also near the course at that time. So then I discovered my self-love, and I made two commitments. My self-love, my higher self, and I made two commitments to experience more of it in my life and to share more of it. So in the few years that passed between the age of 28 and 75, that's what I've been doing. I did other things and I neglected my money, and now I'm working on that. Because that wasn't the form of self-love. That was a form of, I don't know what it was. It was a form of plain old guilt or whatever, that I don't deserve it, so I have to give to others. And I didn't know how to monetize. I didn't learn how to monetize my skills, and now I'm learning. And the last thing is telling you that people came, some of you came to the fundraiser for Immunity for Humanity on Saturday. And Dr. Clint gave an amazing heartfelt talk, and so did the other doctor, and every one of them in different style. And those who want to still come to this, which was actually supposed to be my birthday, but it didn't work, the birthday of our Immunity for Humanity, where we raise immunity using ancient secret and other tool, and where we lower stress through different modalities. You are the first one. Or we are the first one, ancient secret. So if you still want to participate, people who want to donate the $25 to stws.org can receive the video of Dr. Clint, access to Dr. Brown, who didn't want to be recorded at the end, and some home remedies that actually you have, and help other people to raise their immunity. So I just want to let you know that you can still celebrate Immunity for Humanity by donating to, find the donate button in stws.org. And I want to thank Clint from the bottom of my heart for his great participation. I know how busy he is. And next week I'll celebrate with him. Next month, after you have so many opportunities to join with Dr. Clint in Sedona for the retreat, for we saw it in the newsletter, for a marma, for a clinic, a Shakti clinic in Sedona also before the retreat. You'll also have to opportunity to do it in New York in June 25, which is Sunday, and I'll be the main organizer, and I'm starting to work hard again at the age of 75. And I love too much to work hard, but I try to slow down because like everybody else, if you want to love yourself, breath is the key, because breath is a gift from God. Is to breathe even deeper, the in-breath even deeper than the out-breath, and the pause between the breaths.
Yes.
Remember these two are
Between the
keys
breath.
to love yourself, to
Absolutely.
love your higher self voice. That's it.
Nehemiah,
That would
thank
come
you
to me.
so much.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You always have such great words of wisdom, and you bring up something so important. You know, we are so grateful for Dr. Clint, and I'm sure he did an amazing job. I did not see the fundraiser and the speech that he gave, but you know, he's going to be on stage, a very large stage this week, you know, before our event, you know, and then of course we're going to have our event, which is wonderful in Sedona. But let's just take one moment and just send positive vibes and thoughts to him, and in gratitude, and wishing him well for being on the stage of Cryon this week. Dr. Clint, we love you. We wish you well. We hope everything goes well. We want peace of mind, calm of heart, and you to channel your divine wisdom. Channel the divine wisdom from the lineage. We're so excited for you. Thank you. Thank you.
Jenna, I forgot something.
Yes.
I forgot something to share with everybody that I do beside this one. You know, when we clap for somebody, not just clapping, we are shaking our out energy and send it out. That's the reason why people clap. We do it on out. So I usually do. And then.
Oh,
So I
that's a
don't
good
say you
idea.
have to do it, but that's my way.
Well, you know, in the 100 days, we learned from Dr. Naram that clapping actually is a marma, and he starts his day out clapping 6 times.
Oh.
Wow. Thanks for confirming.
Yes.
So you can choose if you want to add it to your protocol when you share love. I from now on, I give myself permission to clap and then put my hands, because that's what I do usually.
Awesome. It's awesome. Yes, the hands hold a lot of, you know, in Chinese medicine, they, you know, all of the organs and parts of your body are in your hands. So when you,
Hologram.
all of them. Yeah. So when you stimulate that, it just really supports you in the body. So it's wonderful. Great. Catherine. Thank you, Nehemiah. Catherine, I'm so excited to hear from you.
Oh, welcome everyone. So I combined two different things. And one of the things that I've been doing for a couple of years now is seeing myself as my left hand, my higher self, and I see it as this bright light. And then I'll take my right hand, and I can call it my ego, I can call it my personality or my lower self. And then I'll put them together and allow my lower self to merge with my higher self. And that's one way I honor myself, that this is the truth of who I am, and this is my life's path, this is my work, bringing myself together as one love, the true highest love, and that's one of my favorite. The other thing is I work with another master teacher who is teaching us a lot about, it's called Hellspan, or anyway. But anyway, we practice loving every part of our body in lots of different ways. And so what I'll do sometimes is sit and just love my cells, talk to my cells, send love to my organs of the body, send love to every tissue, especially if I'm having a physical challenge. And this is a very powerful thing and a very powerful way to transmute, along with diet and, herbs and supplements, to bring my body back to the love that it was created to be, in this lifetime. And I too, I'm not 70, but I'm 61. And for me, it's still a shock. I'm like, no way. There's no way I made it to 61. That's still a little challenging, considering I still have health challenges from having COVID over a year ago. But my intention is always to be better as I get older, healthier. And so I think I'm just getting a restart. I got everything scratched and broken, and then now it's time to put myself back together as a higher, better physical self, so I can hold that light of my higher self. Because the higher self really can't come in my body when it's not healthy and strong. So that's part of my intention. And as far as loving myself, one of the challenges I have right now, I'll finish with this, is that I'm in a place where I live somewhere where I don't feel like it's a loving place for me to live. It's not the best place for me anymore. And I'm literally putting myself out on a limb because I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Every time I get someone who says, oh, I'll rent a place with you, then they change their mind. I'm like, gosh darn it, what the heck? And so it's a really scary place to be, being in that void. But it's more important for me to love myself and put myself in a more loving place, no matter where that is, and trust somehow, some way that'll come together. And I think I have about a month left to figure it out. So, but I'm no matter how scared I feel sometimes, or nervous or sad that, oh my gosh, I don't know where I'm going to go, and am I going to be by myself? I'm going to do it anyway. And so that's one way I'm showing self-love to myself, is just jumping and going for it and trusting that love will find me the right place.
That's so beautiful. I know that there's been so many people in our community that have been in the same situation in the past, and the fear is real, the uncertainty, but that's part of it. Is being in the unknown is really a wonderful place to be. If you are in partnership with it, just like you said, I'm trusting it, I'm surrendering to it, I'm allowing that love will guide you to be in the very best place that you will. And many of the people in the community, that's what has happened. They have moved into a beautiful place, and they are in a place of love. So I trust that will happen for you, Catherine. Thank you so much. I've loved seeing your transformation over the last 3 months. Is there anything that you would like to say about your transformation over the last few months?
It's interesting. I have been studying natural medicine probably since the mid-'80s, because I've had health and immune issues my whole life. And it's just really fascinating to, in this particular moment, what my body's doing, how perfect Siddhaveda is for my body. And especially the fact that with long COVID, a lot of it is the nervous system. And so being able to work with my Vata and my Pitta, the Pitta's been creating a lot of heat, has been super, super helpful, and given me the language and the tools to work with it. There's so many theories out there and so many supplements and viewpoints about how to heal from long COVID, and a lot of people don't even understand that it exists at all. And so having this tool is just so empowering, because being sick and not understanding your body and nobody knows what's happening to it, it's one thing to have an illness that everybody at least sort of understands. This long COVID thing is almost nobody knows what to do with it and why it's happening. And we have ideas. And so to have a tool, I don't need to know the science. I don't need to know exactly how to fix every single little thing. I can just bring my doshas into balance. and eat properly, and I can make a huge difference, in my healing process.
It's so beautiful. I love that. I'm just going to mute a couple of people. Anyway, I just am so grateful that you said that, because, I love how Siddhaveda is a little bit different than Ayurveda. And I mean, it's still Ayurveda, but it has a little bit more to it. And I love how it works with the cycles. And like you said, you don't happen to know what exactly is happening, but you're aware of, and the more you become aware of when your vata is high and how the pitta shows up, the more you can bring, your body and your mind and your spirit and your emotions into balance. Because what I've recognized this week as I've been experiencing stress, the stress really can knock my vata off balance. And who knew? I had no clue that would be the case, and it did. And so getting that stress in alignment really supports. So yes, thank you so much, Catherine, for all your words. Yeah. Robin.
Yeah, so as you can see, I have been laughing this morning. I love Esther Francis's and Gary's things. And so, one of my top things is come on the Sunday calls. But one of the things that I started to do is I have a list of fun ways to reframe. And Carol taught me, when you're doing the forgive and forget, then in the red frame over the left eye, she says she envisions like the Wicked Witch of the West melting. I'm melting. And I did that. And like I had some transformative things with my sister, after I'm like, well, I don't want to hurt her. And oh no, 100% unconditional love when you're doing it. And I had like a transformative thing by the next morning. And so I'm going to add riding an elephant with Esther Francis and seeing the tree turn into a toothpick. I'm adding that to the list. I think that's hysterical. And and so, but one of my favorite new things that I did, because I was realizing that when I get into the scared of what my sister is going to do mindset, then it can just completely knock me off my game, And so I wound up adapting a Tony Lister thing, how he has us move, and sometimes we're moving forward and back and the sidewinder, and then he'd have us do the figure 8, the infinity sign. So I decided to combine the infinity sign, moving my hips, with the Aikido principle of when your attacker is coming at you, you take their energy in the direction that it's going, and then you flip it around to do what you want, where you want it to go. So with the infinity sign, I'm taking any negativity and I'm swooshing it around and swooshing it around. And pretty soon after I do that, it's like I have transformed what was a negative thought or energy into love and what I want. And so, we always have this opportunity to reframe. And then one of the other things that I have been loving doing is, as soon as I get any bit of anxiety, or the faster I can do it, then the less anxiety chemicals I have running in my body. So as soon as I feel any anxiety or self-doubt or anything, I'll do any of the marmas that for self-love or anxiety. So I'll do this one, or I'll do this one, or I'll do this one, anything that will get me to crack a smile. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, that's not so bad. And so, because that's the thing, as soon as we can stop the downward cycle.
Yes.
And if you can get it down from an hour or all day stewing to down to a half an hour, and then 15 minutes, and then 5 minutes, and then 1 minute, and then 30 seconds. And then, oh yeah, do this. As soon as you have a thought, then it can completely change everything.
That's so amazing, Robin. Thank you so much. For those of you who don't know Tony Lister did a series, I think it was a 6-week series of subconscious. What was the, Cornelia, what was the name of the?
It was more or less subconscious reprogramming.
Yes. So he helped us learn how to transition trauma in our body. And how, you know, how to do different movements and how to do different, it's a wonderful program that we have. I don't know whether it's still available or not, but I think that Tony's going to be doing some more training coming up soon. So Robin, thank you so much for reminding us about the tools that we learned in that course. And reframing is really so very important while we're transitioning with self-love. Thank you for all of you who have shared this morning. I so appreciate it. I want to take a minute and do the forgive and forget marma really quickly before we drop from our head to our heart. So let's start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's do this marma on our ears. Self-love. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wonderful. I just really want you to love yourself, forgive yourself. Forgiveness was one of the top things that helps us show self-love. So Cornelia, are we ready for the music? And Jerem, would you like to introduce our music?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jana. Yeah, so very excited to introduce my dear friend of 40 years or so, Gus Mancini, who is one of the people in my life who has inspired me with music. He lives and breathes music. And I'm going to share a recording that he made, which Gus, the In the Moment CD was actually done in the moment, correct? It was improvised, is that right? You got to unmute yourself, Gus.
Okay.
There you go.
Is that okay? Am I there
Yeah.
now?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Gus. We're so excited to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here. This is wonderful to see so many people sharing, you know. You know, for me, one of the greatest things that I found out in my 81 years is the most perfect word for me is surrender. Because I never felt it was a giving up, it was always a going to. So before I play a note, I always surrender. And then it shows me what's happening. So in that essence, you become the form. And the best part is when you're playing, you can't think. I mean, thinking is wonderful to get around, you know, to get in your car and start it and stop it. But if you really think about it, the minute you have any kind of thought, what does the mind do? It doubles down. It triples down. It never solves anything. You'll never solve anything through your intellect, that's for sure. So it has to be your heart first. Whatever that meant.
It's so true. What you just said is so true, because when we connect with our mind, it does put a block. But when we are connecting with our intuition and with our heart, we're open to all possibilities and being able to connect with truth. It's beautiful what you just said. And that inspiration really does run when you surrender. It really does connect. And I know that so many of you already experience that on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Part of being in the world.
Yes.
It's much more difficult being in the world than being in your heart, that's for sure.
It is very true, because you're in your heart, you're more vulnerable. And when you're in your heart, sometimes that vulnerability isn't perceived very well. You know, so you have to be in a place of protection, of discernment, to know if you need to protect or if it's okay to be vulnerable. But living vulnerably is really the very best place to be.
Yeah, well, frankly, I don't manage stress. I manage my joy. You know?
Oh my gosh, what an amazing concept.
Well, I mean,
oh my gosh.
I know, right? Go figure. I mean, if you're at home and you're not having a good time, then you have to change company. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, that's beautiful. Jerem, do you want to go ahead and introduce the music?
Yeah, this is a piece that I just love. And Gus is collaborating with a very talented musician, poet, Patricia Martin, and it's called The Face of God. So enjoy, please.
face of God. I wanna know.
Hafiz says, when no one is looking and I want to kiss God, I just lift my own hand to my mouth.
I want to know the face of God. I want to know my Creator.
Yogananda says, the difference between matter and spirit is in the rate of vibration, a difference of degree, not of kind.
I want to know
Right now.
I want to know right now, right now.
Sutra Lord Shiva says, at the point of sleep, when sleep has not yet come and the external wakefulness vanishes, at this point being is revealed. Hakuin says, to see into your own nature is to see for yourself the true face of Lotus.
I want to see your face.
Albert Einstein said, I just want to know the thought and mind of God. The rest are just details. Neem Karoli Baba says,
I want to know the face of God.
it is better to see God in everything
I want to know.
than to try and figure it out. Hafiz says, God, disguised as myriad things and playing a game of tag,
I want to know.
has kissed you and said, you're it.
I want to know. I want to know the face of God. I want to know. Right now, 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 right now. I want to know my
I want to feel the joy.
I want to feel the joy.
I want to feel the peace
Right now.
in the moment. Feel the joy. Feel the joy. I want to know
my Creator.
Tabitha cried. I personally have almost cried in
Such a gift, Gus. Thank you so much.
Sure.
That was so fun.
I love the
Oh.
reaction. It really overwhelmed me. It was wonderful.
That's awesome. It was so much fun. Great. Jerem, would you like to explain about Gus's music being on the music project?
Yes, thanks, Jana. So we actually launched the Ancient Secrets Music Project last week, which I'm very excited about. Gus is one of the many incredible musicians who are donating music to support the orphans in Nepal, the orphan kids that are just so incredible and need basic things like rent and school books and good food and good caretakers. So when you go onto the ancientsecretsfoundation.org website, you can purchase an MP3 recording of songs like you just heard from Gus and many, many others. Renara was here last week with her beautiful music. Esther Francis has some incredible stuff coming up to have for your own. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. The orphans get the benefit of your purchase of the music. You can buy a song for $1.50 or more donation, and an album for $12.75 or more donation. So please check out the Ancient Secrets Foundation website. We'll be loading more and more music as the days go along. We put about 3 or 4 this past week. Some wonderful, wonderful stuff that I'm pretty sure you will find something that you dearly enjoy and love and find healing. So thank you, Jana.
Jerem, thank you so much. Will you tell us about Gus? You told me earlier that Gus is famous. So.
Well, I feel like Gus is a local legend in the Woodstock area.
Oh, right.
Okay. Gus has played with pretty much everyone that you know, and in such a humble way. He just goes in there and does his thing, and just does it so beautifully. He can play multiple instruments. The album that I created in 2005, Gus created tapestries around all the simple guitar and vocal pieces that I composed, and did just amazing things. I would bring in this bare bones composition, and Gus would create a whole tapestry around it. I'm just so grateful. He's one of those people that just, it's who he is. There's nothing else there but music. Well, there's a lot more there, but you get the picture.
Yes. So Gus, you said that you did a radio show in the in Woodstock, New York area for how many years?
26 years.
26 years. That's
And I was on it. I had a great opportunity because I was on it with Patrick Collin, who was George Collins' older brother. So he had a card that was really kind of wonderful. If you can understand, you're going to understand it with this. It says, "Hopelessness is not a bummer." So he kind of, because when you get to those moments and you transcend them, then you realize like you're really beginning to live an inner life. That's what it means.
I just want to repeat that if I can. Hopelessness is not a bummer.
Right. Yeah, because
go ahead.
In those moments, to me, whenever you have those moments, it's always an opportunity to grow in your humanity, and if you're not doing that, what's the purpose of this trip at all?
Oh my gosh, this is such a perfect segue into our next segment of talking with Casey. But, Gus, in our community, we have 3 principles that we function with, and they're from Dr. Naram. And the very first principle is, what do you want? So you identify what you want and you press the marma, and there's a whole process around it. and identify what you want to consciously bring to the world. And then the second one is the Aditi Devo Bhava, which what it means that when the unexpected guest comes to your door, that you treat it as if it is the divine, and you work with it as if, what is the gift that is in this? And that's what I hear you say is when hopelessness shows up, it's not a bummer, it's an Aditi Devo Bhava. And then the third one is the gratitude, where you're grateful for what has come and what you have learned. And so thank you, Gus, for bringing that to us.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And it was wonderful for me to see, a bunch of conscious people. That's all. I guess it's all that, if you're conscious, it's fine. If not, then there's trouble. So stay conscious always.
Great words of advice.
Glad he got a chance to see the face of God in so many people.
Absolutely.
Oh, we're excited to be able to hear another piece of music from you towards the end of the call. So thank you, Gus. It's a pleasure that you're here.
Thank you.
We're going to move to our next little segment, and Casey is going to talk about his transformation story. And as I was thinking about it, I thought, Casey, I really don't know much about you. I would really love to hear about you. So if you wouldn't mind, come off mute and start sharing with us. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Jana. Yeah, thank you. I'm really grateful to be here. And yeah, this just, there's this beautiful thing. Everything happens right on time, and the divine timing of everything. And just the topic of today's call being self-love, and so many things that I've heard already. Gary jumping on and sharing, and all the shares, but and Gus and his music, and I love some of the things he said about surrender. And surrender has become like one of my, I guess, mantras that, I feel like I'm on this path of surrender right now. And you mentioned gratitude, and sitting in this space of gratitude for just this life and for everything that's happened in my life. And not just the good things, but specifically for the difficult, challenging times, and that principle of, Atiti Devo Bhava, which will be a reoccurring theme, So, and it's interesting, like I had all these different ideas, because I knew I've had this messaging for a long time. I've had this messaging for a while now about, sharing my story at some point. And for a long time, I really didn't know what that meant. What does that mean, sharing my story? But, a couple weeks ago, or actually last week, my wife and I were in Mexico celebrating our 23rd wedding anniversary. And for the last 2 months, we've been reading Ancient Secrets together, and I've been reading it out loud to Melanie, and she loves that I read it to her. So, and just the timing of us being in Mexico celebrating our anniversary, and it just so happened to be synchronistically timed with, I was reading we were finishing the book, and I read the last chapter and the remaining pages of it, and I was so emotionally overcome, reading the end of the book, in that last chapter, because in that last chapter, Clint is there in either New York or New Jersey, where Dr. Naram is giving, a speech to first responders and survivors of 9/11, and for all the work that he did in helping those victims, first responders that were affected. Their health was affected by, being exposed to the toxins and stuff, and learning in that speech that Dr. Naram's name, Pankaj, translated in English, and I don't know if I pick up on these small little subtle things. It's just, something I do, this web of synchronicity and stuff like that. So but Pankaj, his name translated in English is lotus. And that was very significant meaning to myself and Melanie, because you know, we went through a challenging time early on in our marriage, and then back in 2020, because we were celebrating our 20 years, we wanted to come up with some kind of a mantra or something to signify our relationship. And what came, and Melanie was inspired by this, but we chose the lotus flower, you know, because the lotus flower blooms out of the mud. And Dr. Naram even says that. He says that his name meaning lotus, that his master said, you need to be like your name, the lotus, you know. So like, as the lotus blooms out of the mud, so must these ancient secrets, you know, bloom to show what, you know, the secrets that lie behind, or the benefits. And which was also very beautiful and synchronistic, because it was the lotus flower really that guided me to the ancient secrets. I had a friend, her name is Leah. She's not on the call today, but just she's going to see the recording. But she had recommended the book Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer. And when I first went and looked at the book, reading it didn't really resonate at the time, but on the cover, there's a lotus flower. And so I saw the lotus flower and I thought, okay, and the book did, the energy of the book definitely resonated. So I remember purchasing the book and then, you know, setting it aside, thinking that, you know, one day I would read this. And then again, through, you know, just then it was, you know, 6 months later, and this was in March of, you know, 22, right at the very end. And I was at a very difficult time emotionally at that point. And again, through, I don't want to get into the whole, you know, dot to dot, you know, synchronicities, but I somehow, just really quickly, it had to do with a beach in Dominican Republic and a few, you know, other people, but I found my way somehow into Clint's Instagram page, Dr. Clint's Instagram page, not knowing he was the author yet. And I saw the picture of Clint and Dr. Naram, the beautiful picture. It's in the book, but on his Instagram, it's, you know, in full color. And then again, I was just drawn to the lotus flower that they're holding. And I noticed behind the lotus flower that they're holding was the book. And I recognized the book and I'm like, oh, that's the book that's sitting up on my nightstand, covered up under, you know, clutter. So I went and that's when I got the book in my hand, and the way that Clint opens up the book, that if you're holding this book and you're reading it at this time, it's not by accident. And that you and I are connected. And I felt just an immediate, like, drawn in, and you know, like the spirit of Clint and Dr. Naram, like, imprinted on my heart at that time. And that was that was actually the last day of March 2022, and it was in April that I found myself in a very just challenging emotional space, and really struggling with just the suffering of out in the world and humanity that I was experiencing in my job. You know, that was another thing, reading that last chapter and this beautiful connection that I felt with him serving the first responders, was that I myself, you know, for 13 years, you know, 15 years worked as a first responder. And technically, you know, I still currently am, although I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But yeah, in April last year, I was in very difficult emotional space, and I felt hopeless. I felt on the outside, everything was beautiful. I had this beautiful life, beautiful family, a career that I really did love, but that was getting really, really hard and challenging on me emotionally and psychologically. And I found myself in a place where I didn't know how I could continue, and I felt hopeless. And in a moment of desperation, seeking to end my suffering is the only way. It was those words of Dr. Naram's master, actually, that with every adversity, every difficult situation or heartbreak has with it seeds of equal or greater outcome. And I also just found it very beautiful in that chapter, and what for me, and I know there's, people are drawn to ancient secrets for a lot of different reasons. We're all suffering from in some kind of form of suffering. A lot of people have physical ailments, disease, illness, and they find their way to ancient secrets. I myself, and there's a whole lot of people that struggle with illness of the personal mind, and that was my case. I'm struggling with anxiety, depression, all throughout my life. And that chapter in the book, the section called Finding Seeds of Hope, I just remember reading that and just feeling like, Dr. Naram had this gift of understanding people. And I felt he understood me. And he even talks about in there that most people will never know what it's like to feel like, to be so depressed that you actually have thoughts of wanting to end your life. And being a person that has struggled with those thoughts, I just felt understood, and I felt loved. And so that is, part of my message today. And I, again, back to how this all came up is, studying, doing the 100-day course. Like I've done everything from when I really, so it was in April, but then it wasn't until October when I really kind of dove in. And first was the 30-day miracle experiment, and then the 30-day detox. And I did the 8-week subconscious reprogramming with Tony Lister, and have so many synchronicities with Tony and I, even though I've never met him yet, but look forward to meeting him in Sedona. He's one of those puzzle pieces in the web of synchronicity. But and then the 100-day course, started in January, and then had so many beautiful things throughout that course. But one of the greatest gifts, and a lot of my transition has come towards the end since March. And I was given this gift, of being able to be placed, I was on that call, that Sunday call, when my dear friend Shifra and all of our friends Shifra came on, and in vulnerability expressed, her pain and suffering, and then seeing Dr. Clint really just be guided by unconditional love, guide us all through this beautiful, marma session to connect with our hearts. I ended up in the same breakout room, and I just, felt like I was supposed to be there. And I was like, so I was given this gift of supporting and working with her. And through that, she shared her poem several times, but that other call, that other miracle day when Jack Canfield came on and she shared the poem, then it just, something in me was like, the poem is titled Don't Wait. And I just, something inside me, was like, Casey, what are you waiting for? So it was May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, that's why I reached out to Dr. Clinton. I said, I think it's time for me to share, and I'd like to share in May if possible, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and that is very near and dear to me. And just so, also in that last chapter of the book that I was reading, and I don't know how I missed this before, is that page after that, it was the spirit and the story of Clint's sister Denise that actually put him on the mission that connected him with Dr. Naram, and that the book was dedicated to her. So I just wanted to I guess for her and for, we all know somebody at some point who has lost someone to suicide. So I guess I feel maybe right now that if we could just take a minute of silence for, you know, in the spirit of, you know, Clint's sister that was largely the reason why, you know, he was out on the purpose and mission of, he was spreading a mission of spreading a message of hope for people that struggle, and found his way to Dr. Naram, and you know, the gift of these ancient secrets have, you know, have healed my heart and healed my, you know, so much deeper emotional healing. So
Casey, I'm so grateful that you had said what you have said. I've had in my notes to write down that in the United States, we're celebrating Memorial Day, which we celebrate and honor those who have fallen in service of our country. And I wanted to say that, but we also honor the loved ones that have passed on, decorating the graves and that sort of thing. So this is such perfect timing to be able to honor, you know, we all probably have known somebody who has fallen to suicide, and how heartbreaking it is. And I believe that many of us on this call have looked at suicide as a possibility. You know, when things are not going well, sometimes we have to have an out. And so sometimes suicide is contemplated. You know, we may not act upon it, but we think about it, which gives our body a relief, because we always have to have an option. And while we're in that state of relief, we can find new resources to be able to get to a place where we don't act upon that. So, Casey, thank you for your beautiful story. And before we honor that, I want to honor you, Casey.
Am I done yet, or
No, you're not done yet.
Okay.
You're not done yet, but I wanted to honor you. I just wanted to kind of, what I heard you say is that here you were somebody that, first of all, the synchronicities that are interactive in your life are absolutely amazing. And for you to be in a state of hopelessness, because I don't know why, but you know, you were a first responder. It sounds like you still are a first responder, but you're possibly stepping back from that situation right now. And you found the book. And through the book, through the little nuggets that I talked about earlier that exist in this book, and no lie, they really do. And if you haven't gone back and reread this book, it's amazing to be able to hear and listen to those little nuggets. What I did is I went back through and I've read it so many times, but I went back through, I wanted to hear Dr. Naram's his teachings that he taught Clint, because they were so profound in that Sidivated lineage that you know, that we're all a part of. But Casey, you found those little nuggets in the book. You acted upon them. You went to the miracle experiment experience, and then you engaged in Tony Lister's subconscious detox, and then you engaged in the 100 days, and then you happened to be in the room with Shifra, where Shifra was expressing some challenging times. She was just at a place of giving up. And Casey and many others in our community have connected with Shifra and connected with her on almost a daily basis, if not a daily basis, to be able to let her know how much she is loved and valued. And Casey, can you share with me, is it Raven and Lucci, and who are the other people? Michelle?
Absolutely. It was myself and Michelle and Raven and Lucci were the Shifra support squad. We were all given this beautiful gift. Yeah.
It's amazing, amazing. So let's take a minute and express our silence towards the people who have fallen to suicide, and then also to our loved ones who have passed on, and also to the people who have fallen for our nation and for all nations.
Yeah, and just really quick, Bridget had said in the beautiful in the chat that 20 veterans die by suicide every day in the United States. So just in honor of them also.
Absolutely. Such a beautiful energy, full of honor, full of peace. Thank you. Casey, did you have something else you wanted to share?
Yeah, just maybe a few more minutes. Just a little bit about, again, where I was and what's brought me, I guess, to where I am now is that was all happened in April, last year. And, another one of my, spiritual teachers and mentors said that, sometimes the universe will send you a message and he'll communicate through your heart. And it was actually through my heart when I was at work and really, struggling. And, while at work, I ended up having an episode of chest pain that came on, and it lasted for, 5 hours. And I ended up going to the hospital, and they ended up determining that nothing was wrong with my heart, but it ended up being diagnosed as a panic attack. And then, the ball kept, rolling, and eventually I was diagnosed with, PTSD, and I was put off work, which is, so I've been in this place of surrender, like Gus said, and really surrendering to what is next. And through, meeting through my healing. And that's the thing, is like the ancient secrets have been such a big part of my healing. And another huge part of my healing has been music. And I've always had this desire of sharing my story through the music that has touched me, and the musician and music that has been so near and dear to me is a musician named Trevor Hall. And I'm going to share a song with his, and also want to shout out to my brother-in-law Ryan, who was on the call today, because it was Ryan who introduced me to Trevor Hall's music, and which just immediately became healing medicine for my heart and my soul. And this music just vibrates at the frequency of love and healing and unity and peace. And there was one song early on that really became one of my favorites. And it was through his music that synchronistically, again, his music got me into astrology, and through my astrology, I really started to discover who I am and my personality. And it was through my astrology that connected me with this friend, and having my natal chart read, where something in my chart about this healing, this it came up. So and you said singing a song. So I feel like I'm going to be crazy right now, and I don't know if I would ever do this, but I feel like singing a song, since you had said you're looking forward to me singing a song, and I had been thinking, should I actually, so I'm taking that as a sign, and I'm gonna sing a song right now, just a cappella. But I feel inspired because this song, the words of this song, just they kind of just describe the journey that I've been on. And well, I hope that I can do this without becoming too overcome by emotion. But This song is called Jupiter's Call. And I have it memorized, but I'm going to look at the lyrics here just so that I, okay. Well, I've been riding round Saturn's rings, learning how each one sings, jumping from star to star, finding my own heart. I've been learning to slow down, put roots in that ground, waiting till that fruit is ripe, growing up in that light. Sunshine through my window, she's coming home tomorrow. It's my choice to be joyful, giving up on sorrow, na, na, na. This is my story, this is my vision, everything right on time. Well, I'm hearing Jupiter's call, got me feeling strong and tall, laughing at the play of life, giving me a brand new sight. The war between right and wrong, I'm putting it all in song, and trust that I do my best, letting my body rest. Sunshine through my window, she's coming home tomorrow. It's my choice to be joyful, giving up on sorrow, na, na, na. This is my story, this is my vision, everything right on time. So, yeah, and then
Yay!
if I could, just to
You
close
can
this.
unmute.
Fabulous.
Woo-hoo,
Just to-
Casey!
Fantastic, Casey.
Awesome, Casey!
Good, Casey. Good job, Casey. Good
Casey!
job, Casey.
Good job, Casey.
Right on time, Casey.
Cool.
Thank you. And then just to close this out, I feel like I have to share this one also. This is the one that I sent to Cornelia, and then I'm done. But this song really, this is a song that was released also in April, and it was a song that was released when I found the book Ancient Secrets, and it was this song and that really carried me through this heavy time. And it, I felt it's beautiful to share this video because the video was actually shot in India, and it speaks to all of us that when we're struggling, when we're going through an emotional time, and we're just in that difficult emotional state. So I'm just gonna read the lyrics, and then Cornelia can play that music video, and then that concludes my sharing. So I feel like it's important sometimes, like, we listen to music, and a lot of times we miss some of the greatest message, which is in the poetry, because songs is just poetry sung to music. So I always like, reading the poetry of the songs. And this one was a song, and he wrote this song specifically because he himself also struggled with mental struggles and emotional challenges. It's called Swimming in Two Oceans, or Two Oceans is the name. Swimming in two oceans, all that emotion, drowning to survive, the tides inside my mind. My hands are reaching out. How can I speak about? Waves crashing on my body. I shiver from that cold, cold world, that old world. You'll never survive if you don't try to calm the waters on the inside. On the inside, you're the moonlight. On the outside, gotta hold tight. Let the storm pass. Then you'll walk on water. Then you'll walk on water. Balanced, I'm challenged. I try to shift the currents of my mind. Don't suffer with the times. Don't settle for this cruel, cruel world, this old world. You'll never survive if you don't try to calm the waters on the inside. On the inside, you're the moonlight. On the outside, gotta hold tight and let the storm pass. Then you'll walk on water. So go ahead, Cornelia.
Cornelia, I think you just have to push play. I think it just pushed.
Sorry, I have to restart that. Give me 1 second.
I'll just say a little bit while Cornelia is resetting it. Yeah, this music video was set in India, and you know, the actor in it, you know, what was I saying? Okay, so they filmed it that the main character you'll see suffered from, you know, drug and substance addiction, and this is how the community came together, you know, to help him. And so
Wonderful. Thank
yeah.
you, Cornelia.
Swimming into oceans, all that emotion, drowning to survive. The tides inside my mind, my hands are reaching out. How can I speak about, waves crashing on my body? I shiver from that cold, cold world, that old world. You'll never survive if you don't try to calm the waters on the inside. On the inside, you're the moonlight. On the outside, gotta hold tight. Let the storm pass you. Then you walk on water. Then you walk on water.
was beautiful. It was really beautiful. I want to just speak to the people that do need to leave. It's been, we're reaching 90 minutes. So those that need to leave, we understand, but we're going to continue for those who would like to stay. So Casey, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you want to hear more, just am I muted? Okay, there. Just as a reminder and to announce, we have our Unstoppable Love poetry music concert this afternoon at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, where Shifra and I will be leading that. And then anybody is welcome. We want all to come, and the purpose obviously is to help, raise money to help those that to help people get to Sedona that wouldn't otherwise be able to make it. So please come tune in to support that if you can't, and if not, we'll post the link so you can support that if you're not able to tune in the chat. So, all right.
Wonderful. Great. Gary, are you still on the call? Gary? Gary had something he wanted to announce, but I guess we'll hear from him later. I really loved Casey's story where he was talking about service. And I am very touched by the many people that have been on the call that are in a place of service. And you know what? I'm so sorry. Anna Renee, I forgot your hand was up. Would you like to speak?
I would like to speak because this is so timely, this whole thing. I just went to a yoga class the other day, and it was actually a memorial for this woman who really had been telling us about her son, who was an ex-Marine, and he served in Afghanistan, and the pain that he carried from that, and also somehow got himself imprisoned for 10 years and taught yoga in prison. But this man was such a badass, and even how she talked about, how their conversations. And just last week he took himself out, and her journey and how she spoke of him, and all people were crying through the whole memorial service, but we were doing yoga, right? We were celebrating him with sun salutations. But what I really received was what a great warrior angel he was, and the depth of pain that he carried for all of us. And so it really, really touched my heart. Then I went to a radionics. I had a radionics done. And this woman also talked about having been in the service and the post-traumatic stress that she carried from that. And so recently I've developed a program for women survivors of childhood abuse. But now I'm seeing like, oh my God, there are all these people who were these first responders who are carrying all of this trauma. So I don't know where this is going. I know my whole service is going in a different direction than it was of like, the goddess work.
It's called surrender.
Truly. But I just found Ancient Secrets a few weeks ago, and my heart is just like booming right now, because through my work with Joyous Transformations, I can help people find where these cellular memories are lodged within their bodies, and we can release them through sound healing and through projected aromatherapy and through the transmission that comes through me. And healing doesn't have to take a long time. So,
it's so true. So true.
I don't
Healing
know.
doesn't have, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how to offer this to the community, but we don't have to carry these memories in our body any longer. The time is now to give them up and to release them to spirit gracefully and easily, and to just let go of this pain and suffering that all of these amazing people who have really served, put their life on the line again and again and again to serve us.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
I love how well, Schiffer, I don't know. Oh, that was the timing. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about the book. Dr. Naram does marma that helps release trauma as well. And there's Anna Renee is a wonderful, wonderful healer. I got to experience a session with her. She's beautiful. And she is also one of the people who have been doing service. She is on the Sedona team. She lives in Sedona, and we're so grateful for her and all of the Sedona team members, you know, Jerem and Esther and Susan and Andrea and Joseph, and who am I missing? Janet and all of those people who
Jana.
You're missing
Yes.
you. You're missing you, Jana.
I do just a little. I
No,
just
you
do
do
a
a
little. So I so appreciate all of you. And I am, as Casey was talking about his service that he did for Shifra, I was looking around and I could see the service that our community does, the translators on the call like Sonia and Renara. And I was seeing the, you know, remembering all of the 100-day, you know, people who served with the 100 days, they were the mentors. I was remembering the miracle experiment experience and all of the mentors for that as well. So many of us in this community have served with love, and it really is a support to be able to move us through some of those traumatic experiences. When we are in that negative place of not loving ourselves, sometimes loving somebody else can help us connect to that love that we need to instill back to ourselves. So wonderful. I would like to know, should we go ahead and set up the breakout rooms?
Yes.
Cornelia?
Yeah, we can do that. I will do that in a
Oh, we
second.
have one
The
more
only
piece of
thing-
music. I'm so sorry.
The only thing that I would like to say is, because that hasn't actually been put in the chat, is that the link for the concert in the afternoon is the same that you clicked on for today's call in the morning. So we have kept the same link. So please use then the Ancient Secret Zoom for also coming to the concert in the afternoon.
And sorry, Jana, would it be okay if I spoke for a minute?
Just for a minute, yes, please.
Yes, thank you. No, I just wanted to thank everybody. That was an amazing presentation. Casey, I want to thank you from my heart, and I want to thank Lucci and Raven and Michelle and many other people. And there's a link. There's a concert tonight, 6:30 Eastern Time, 3:30 Pacific Time. It should be a beautiful concert, and it would enable and this being in this community, even for this short period of time, has been so incredibly transformative in my life. And I'm believing I'm going to get there, and I would like to get there. And equally, I know there are a couple of other people who want to go, and we want to go there and celebrate with you, share, and share in the love, and share our gifts, and pass on what has been giving me. I've already been passing it on to other people, and just I'm just very grateful to this community. And I hope you can come to the concert, because it would be lovely to have you. And if you're not able to come, it will be on the website, and then there's a link if you are in a position to donate. But the concert itself is free, and I thank you, because this has been, being a part here for the past 8 weeks has been absolutely transformative. And I thank each and every one of you from my heart, individually and collectively. And
Wonderful. Chipper, thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to hearing your work tonight. Gary, are you in the call? I thought you had left. Please, please, please share with us. And then Carol had something she was going to share with us as well. I'm so sorry, I forgot.
Well, I don't need to, and you're already past time. And didn't you want to share? Didn't Gus have another piece of music?
We do, but we can have time for a couple of announcements. Go ahead, quick.
Well, I don't. My thing is 6 minutes. I don't need. It's a self-love meditation, and I don't really feel like there's time for it, because you got a lot of other things going on, and it's already.
Oh, I thought you were announcing something. I'm so sorry.
Oh, yes, I am. Oh, yeah. Thank you. I was just putting that. Yeah, I was hoping to share a self-love meditation. We'll do it another time. But what I wanted to say to anyone who's coming to Sedona, that we are creating the second night for a talent show. And for those of you who have a little gleam in your eye that have always wanted to share, we've already gotten one email from somebody saying, this is so scary for me. And, I can't deal with each email like that individually. And hopefully, Jerem, I don't know if you're willing, Jerem, to receive some of these offers, but we will support you when you're there. Sign up immediately when you say, I'm kind of thinking of sharing something and I could offer piano accompaniment. Me and Jerem and the team will find a way to support you. And it's so important that if you have an inkling and a desire to share your talent and to go off on what I call your skinny branches and to let that little part of you jump and feel how supported you can be in taking a risk and sharing that tender, vulnerable, beautiful part of you that's created. So just know that's what we're creating space for on the second night. And there'll be a sign up
If
sheet
you
for
could
that.
send your email to team@myancientsecrets.com, then the team will get it and they'll be able to put you in the
Properly, yeah.
list. Okay, great. Thanks. Go ahead,
'cause
Gary.
that's just such an important part of your self-love, to honor that this is a safe place, to be fragile and vulnerable, and to know that we all will be holding it carefully and lovingly in supporting you to emerge in whatever way you feel called to do. And we'll have, we only have limited time, but we definitely want you to let that desire be known when you're there. So anyway, I love you all and I'm with you all and I wish you well. Take care.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Gary.
much. Okay, and Carol, Ray, are you here?
I'm here.
Great. I had asked Carol to share about the cookbook that we're also going to be having in Sedona, and it's also on Amazon and other places. Go ahead, Carol.
And as of today, it's also available on Kindle. And it was so exciting yesterday to see our friend Lori in Japan with the cookbook that she bought there. So exciting things happening with it, including translation. The first translation that's already being started is in Portuguese. So, oh, that's so exciting for me. But I just want to mention that there are strong links in science about our emotion and depression that relate to diet. And so much of it has to do with our gut bacteria. And there's some fascinating studies on being able to take depression from a mouse and move it into a healthy mouse with the gut bacteria, and from a healthy mouse back to the sick mouse with depression and cure its depression with healthy bacteria. We hear all the time people on the detox within 3 to 4 days, sometimes 4 to 5 days, we start seeing people say, my depression is lifting. It's like this cloud is gone from my head. This is so amazing. And it's because of toxins. And what happens, that gut bacteria start screaming for sugar. Oh, you'd feel so much better if you had that hot fudge sundae. Oh, you need a cola. That would be it. You would be so much happier, right? So that they have taken over our transmission to our brains and convinced us in very powerful ways that we need junk, and we don't. But the cookbook has a lot of information about how to feed yourself, which is another form of self-love. Thank you for the time. Thanks so much for everybody who participated in creation of the cookbook. I really appreciate any reviews that you might be able to leave if you bought it on Amazon.
Great. We're so excited, Carol. And this has been a long time coming. And we're so grateful that it is finally here.
And we have a channel on YouTube now called Ancient Secrets Cookbook.
Carol, I'm glad that you brought that up too, because I wanted to share that, like, as a person that struggled with those things, it has been through changing my food and changing like everything in the 100-day course, like getting in tune again with my natural rhythm, right? And has helped heal my emotions and all of those challenges. So I'm glad that you brought that up at the end. I had meant to do that, but timing and everything. So thank you.
Yeah, it's all tied together, Casey, and loved your presentation, and I love your support. Somebody's got your back, and somebody very beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we come every single week and we connect in the WhatsApp chats, is because this is a transformation. This is not an easy change. To be able to change your lifestyle and change by nature, by human nature, is not always easy, but it has to be conscious. Like Gus had said earlier, we need to become conscious before we can make those changes. And so grateful for that. Jimbo.
Hi. Hey, I just wanted to share my experience here with the fundraising link that was put in the chat for the concert this afternoon. It's called Spot Fund. When I clicked on that link, it just took me to the main page and there was no sign of the specific fundraiser and I couldn't find it. So I just wanted to let people know, whoever is organizing that, maybe that can be fine-tuned.
So
Thank
Casey,
you.
the
I'll
link
correct
doesn't work.
that.
Wonderful. Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome. Okay, I think we're ready for Gus's music.
Yay.
All these things we've got to get in.
Nothing can take you higher. Nothing can take you higher when you are loved. When you are loved. Nothing can take you higher. Nothing can take you higher when you are loved. When you are loved. And you know it's time for all mankind. You know it's time to go together. And where there's doubt and despair,
I love it. Jerem, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just Gus does these amazing things, and video is another one of them. And this was, Gus, you said this was a song you wrote many years before and then put together a video in a few days?
Yes, yes, it was.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something about Sidonia, because I was there a number of years ago. And I was with this Native American group up in Flagstaff with the Flagstaff Symphony Orchestra. And I drove down, and it was so, I thought Sidonia really, I'd love to go there again sometime. It's my bucket list, you know.
Would love to have you come. I'm sure Jerem could share the information with you, but would love to have you as a visitor.
Yeah.
I'd say every day, just like you need to dance and laugh every day. And I don't mean like just so it comes up naturally, you know. It's not something you could like, I'm gonna laugh now. But sometimes that joy comes over you. And a lot of times when that happens, you have to fan it to a blaze. Otherwise, it's just gone. Any kind of inspiration, when it comes to you, fan it to a blaze. And then you really understand what it is. And you keep growing. It's like musicians have these riffs, you know. So if they really go out there, it just increases your vocabulary. So it'll increase your spiritual vocabulary, so to speak.
I really love that. As somebody who's trying to introduce music and dancing back into my life, I really appreciate those words of wisdom, and I will fan it to a blaze. Beautiful. Thank you. Is there anybody that has anything else that they would like to share before we go into the breakout rooms? Any announcements or any insights? We just really hope that you guys will come to Sedona. Just really, we want you to come to Sedona.
Yeah.
So,
And
and
this is really a way that you can, you know, which we were talking about healing from mental health conditions. Doing this stuff helps you without hurting you. Unfortunately, some of the other methods can also be hurtful. And we want to make sure that when we get help, it's actually helpful. And so these methods are helpful and can help mental health issues and many other issues in a way that help, not hurts. Yes.
Schiffer, what is your favorite marma?
Well, that's a really good question. I don't know. I have a couple of them. I like the forgiving one, and I like this one where you go in here, and I like this one. I don't know, you know, and I like doing it. It's a little hard to say. I think they've made a difference, you know.
They do make a difference, yeah.
Or I don't condemn anyone who takes a pill, but I took the pills and they led to hospitalization after hospitalization and 1,000 more problems. And these lead, I would say, to 1,000 more solutions.
They do. Because what it does is it goes into the subconscious mind. It helps you connect with your higher self. And when you're connected to your higher self authentically, you're open to all possibilities.
And you really heal. You don't just stop. You're not just suppressing a symptom that will only come up later again. You're actually healing yourself. And you want the symptoms to go away, but if you're just suppressing them, that won't bring you the healing that you need. So
the marmas are free. We always have our hands and our arms. We always have our body with us. We can always do them. And there's always such great relief. So Schiffer, thank you so much for the reminder. All right, Cornelia, are we ready to go into the breakout room? Thank you.
Yes, the breakout rooms are set up.
Great. You know what? I almost forgot. Let's just express our love to each other. I love you and I'm with you. You'd like to unmute?
Love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you. Schiffer, love you Tia, love you Raven, love you Kim, love you Mr. Francis, love you Harvey, love you Mary, love you Carol.
You and I miss you.
Love you Jana. Just love you Diane. Love you Sister Joseph. Love you. Love you Gary. Kimberly.
So I just opened up all the rooms so you can then
Have you
just
busted the
go
back
in.
yet?
No.
It's not that far.